Hey friends, Andrew here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set a checklist task due date. So if you're working in Trello guys and you have a specific card or task here that needs to be done and you create a checklist, now it's very easy to create checklists and to add members and also to assign a due date. Now how you create a checklist I'm going to show you as well. On the right hand side you create checklist and you go through the steps here to create a checklist, right? You add those items here afterwards. Let me go ahead and add this one, let's say item 4 as an example. Hit enter here and you can see that I have that person. Now you can assign the due date and even a specific person to a specific task, as you can see I am currently doing here, right? Assigning this person. Now to set the due date, it's also very easy as the point of this video. You click on the clock here towards the right hand side and you want to set the specific due date. So let's say I want this due date to be, I don't know, the 14th of May, and the time can be whatever. I can click on save and you can see I'm adding those different due dates for this specific task. So let me add another one here and basically you get the idea. So if you're looking for how to add due dates guys to a specific task, I think it's pretty useful, and this is how you basically do it by clicking on the due date or those clock beside each of these tasks, and you can assign to a person, set the due dates and so forth, right? So you want to ensure that the due date is, let's say, not older or not greater than the overall scope of the project, right? So at least you would want to create it like that, because let me show you something. If I back out of this, you can see, for example, this specific task here, right, or this specific card have a due date of the 31st of May. So if I open up this one, right, and let's say I want to create a quick checklist here, I'm going to create this one. I'm going to click on add and I'm going to quickly, create a task. I'm going to say call this one task one, right, and I'm going to add it. So let's say I add this task. If I go ahead and I create the due date here, which is this whole overall scope of this card is set to due on the 31st of May. So if I switch this and do, for example, June 4 and click and save, right, it's going to save, but it's going to somehow defeat the purpose of that specific task. Well, it can happen, right, that you want the overall, let's say, board or this overall task of this specific card to due on a particular time, but you can see here that it is going to end on the 31st of May, but there's a specific task that needs to be done on that specific time. No, it's really up to you if you want to have those tasks, let's say, completed before the overall scope of this task, or you want to have some exception for a specific task that needs to be done outside of the due date. But it's really as a best practice to ensure that you have all of those specific check marks or tasks completed before the overall scope of this specific card, if you understand. So in this case I wouldn't have it the 4th of July, but you can have it somewhere like, I don't know, somewhere in May really, but even before, it can be even the 30th or something like that. And so you will basically notice that, yeah, you have tasks supposed to be completed in the 30th, but the overall project is going to complete by the May 31st there. And that's it. That's how you go ahead and you basically set up those due dates for your task or for your task on your Trello card, guys. Very easy and very simple.